Every time you shut down your computer, a very strange thing happens. The browser is gone, the game is gone, the running programs are gone. Everything that just existed in the memory seems to disappear in an instant. But at the same time, your photos are still there, your documents are still there, your operating system is still there. Same computer, same storage of data. Why are some things completely forgotten, while other things can be preserved for many years? Many people think the answer is simple, because the computer has memory. With memory, it can naturally remember things. But the truth is the opposite. Today I want to tell you a different truth. The memory in a computer is naturally forgetful. You can even say it's always trying to forget. Let's start with RAM. No matter what program you open, Chrome, VS Code, games, chat apps, when they run, they are loaded into RAM. Why? Because the CPU does not execute programs directly from the hard drive. The CPU is too fast and the hard drive is too slow. To use an analogy, reading data from RAM for the CPU is like taking a book from the desk beside you, but reading from a hard drive is like taking a 2-hour trip to a library in another city. So programs must first go into memory. Then the CPU can read the data, execute instructions, and complete calculations. In other words, RAM is the real workspace of the computer. Almost everything that is happening happens here. But here's the question. Why is RAM so fast? The answer lies in its lowest level structure. If we keep magnifying with a microscope, all the way down to the inside of the chip, you will see that a DRAM storage cell is actually very simple. Only 2 core components. 1 transistor, 1 capacitor. In your computer, there are billions or even tens of billions of such cells. Each cell is responsible for storing 1 bit. That is, a 0 or a 1. How does it store it? The method is also very crude. If the capacitor has charge, it represents 1. If it has no charge, it represents 0. Sounds simple, but there is a fatal problem hidden here. Capacitors leak charge. No matter how advanced the manufacturing process, no matter how high the precision, the charge in the capacitor will slowly drain away. This is not a design flaw, it is a law of physics. That is to say, a storage cell that represents a 1, if left alone, its charge will get less and less until it finally disappears completely. Then this one becomes a 0. If left longer, the entire memory's data will gradually corrupt, finally losing all meaning. So from a physical perspective, RAM cannot remember anything at all. It is naturally forgetful. Then why doesn't our computer lose data every few seconds? Because the computer is constantly fighting against forgetting. This process is called refresh. The memory controller continuously scans the entire RAM, reads data, then writes it back. Read, write, back, read, write, back, repeatedly, tens of billions of times per second. Think of it as a teacher, constantly reminding students, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget. So as long as refresh is happening, the data can continue to exist. Only then can RAM appear to be remembering. But all of this has one prerequisite. There must be electricity. Now back to the original question. What actually happens when the computer shuts down? The answer is very simple. Of course, the electricity is gone. Refresh stops. The memory controller stops working. All capacitors start leaking slowly. No one reminds them anymore. No one writes data back anymore. So every bit begins to decay, one by one, section by section, until all the content in the entire RAM disappears. The browser is gone, the game is gone, the programs are gone. It's not that the computer actively deleted them. It's that RAM forgot them. Then why can files still be preserved? Because files are not stored in RAM at all. They are stored in the SSD. The SSD works completely differently. The SSD uses a structure called a floating gate transistor. It can trap electrons inside an insulating layer like a cage. These electrons do not drain away quickly like in a capacitor. Even when power is cut off, the electrons can stay for a long time, years or even decades. Therefore, the SSD does not need constant refresh, nor does it need continuous power. Even when the computer is already shut down, the data can still exist. This is why modern computers must have both RAM and SSD. RAM is fast, but it forgets data. SSD is slow, but it remembers for a long time. So one is responsible for speed, the other for memory. Both are indispensable. So when we say a computer has memory, this word is actually a bit misleading, because RAM is not designed for permanent memory at all. Instead, it is an extremely unstable storage medium, fast, but also fragile. However, RAM's forgetfulness actually makes it the safest place. When you type passwords, do online banking, process encrypted files, these sensitive data exist only in RAM. After shutdown, they disappear completely and cannot be recovered. In a sense, the computer is helping you destroy the evidence. Next time you press the shutdown button, imagine this picture. Billions of tiny capacitors losing their charge little by little. One by one gradually becomes 0. The entire memory world slowly collapses into a blank emptiness. And this is why the moment you shut down your computer, it forgets everything.